Hi, I'm Flying Flamingo Jade. Myself and Cupcake Krista do Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central, Girls Just Want to Fly. If you're a female that's interested in sharing your story, please contact one of us, and we would love to share your story with you. Welcome to Girls Just Want to Fly.
The world, you know we rule the world. Rule the world, you know we rule the world. Sky high punching, yeah, we're gonna have it all. Cloud nine jumping, happy, I got you, you got me. Engines running, we'll be taking all the dawn. Treasure hunting, glory, I got you, you got me. Dragons at the gate, they won't stop us getting to the top. Whoa, flying into space like a rocket, never giving up. No, I never give up. I was all alone when I started, always been the same. Now you're here, the journey's uncharted, everything will change. You know we rule the world, you know we rule the world. Rule the world, you know we rule the world. Thunder crashing as we're breaking down the walls. Lightning flashing, lucky I got you, you got me. Rainbow crossing as we're heading for the sun. Ain't no stopping, ready, I got you, you got me. Dragons at the gate, they won't stop us getting to the top. Flying into space like a rocket, never giving up. I was all alone when I started, always been the same. Now you're here, the journey's uncharted, everything will change. You know we rule the world, you know we rule the world. Yeah. Rule the world, you know we rule the world. Rule the world, you know we rule the world. Rule the world, you know we rule the world. Stars up high will guide us home. You and I, it's time to take the throne.
All right, well, welcome everybody.
Welcome.
Hi, Krista,
Hi, Jade.
and I want to welcome, we have Rain Vela here. Welcome to Girls Just Want to Fly.
Howdy, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So what's new, Krista? How's the weather down by you?
And it's great. It's 82 when I was on my way home. Fabulous.
And
So
Rain,
nice outside.
Rain, tell me the weather there.
It actually got really hot. We had a cold front come in the last couple of days, and it was like, I want to say it was like 65, and today felt significantly warmer. So, and definitely humid. It's always humid in Texas, though. So I feel like it might have been in like the 80s or something. It just felt really hot.
Wow, I'm jealous because we're getting into the 50-degree high temperature now and probably mid-20s at night. We have frost on our windshields when we get up to go to work in the morning now.
I couldn't handle that.
So you guys are more than welcome to come up and experience the winter wonderland anytime.
Yeah, I'm not looking to forward to flying in that kind of weather or temperature at all.
Oh, well, I won't tell you that my coldest that we flew up here last winter was 9 degrees.
Holy cow, I didn't realize that was possible.
Yep. And it was actually a really nice morning flight. So
Were your hands just frozen?
no, we've started to figure out what we need to wear. We have heated gloves that actually go into each of our fingers, or the wires go into that area, the heating elements.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and we just make sure we got the cuffs on our jackets tight, and then the cuff on the glove goes up your arm enough And then,
Yeah, I'll have to check into that.
yeah. So Eric and Shane had a show last night, Tuesday Night Hangouts, and they were talking about winter or cold weather gear for flying also. So Eric had brought up the gloves that we use. So
Sweet, I'll have to check that out for sure.
yeah. So thank you everyone for joining. I would like to remind everyone that Wednesday nights, I'm glad you're here, but if you guys could all subscribe and hit the thumbs up, Krista and I would really appreciate it. And Krista, do you have something?
Well, I want to thank Eric's company for donating to the fund, the Good Citizenship Scholarship in our son's memory. So thank you for that. That happened last night's show.
Yes, that's what Eric kind of threw me off with is, sorry about that. Tried to get you to catch me. So I believe Eric was going to put in the chat. So Shane and Krista, their son Gage, who they lost a few years back. There's a gentleman was he his athletic director at the time?
So he was actually a track coach, and
Oh, okay.
and he along with Shane coached him at middle school. He was never his teacher. He did teach our daughter.
Okay.
So, but he did know of Gage, and he coached him for track.
Okay. So this gentleman, he was on one night with Shane, and he is actually helping out with a scholarship fund in Gage's name. And Eric will put in the information, the contact information for the Gage Robbins Citizenship Scholarship Fund. So we're asking if anybody would be willing to help out, and we'll have an address in here, and Eric and I have donated some money into the fund also, and hoping you guys could help out and match us.
It is a tax deductible 501c3. So to tell you just a little bit about it for people who happen to miss the Tuesday night show. Our son passed away 6 years ago of cancer, but the school that he went to wanted to recognize him and give one of the seniors a scholarship. The teacher's only putting up $500, so anything extra that we raise is just going to help this child, who will be an athlete, but also a very high GPA. I think it's 3.5 GPA they have to have, or 3 GPA. So they're obviously dedicated to both their scholastic and staying healthy and being a sports person, an athlete, and yeah, good citizen, helping out everybody. So pretty much what our son is what they're trying to pick, somebody like our son. So yeah,
That's awesome. I am so glad that they're doing that in Gage's honor. So you'll have to keep us updated on that, okay?
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
All right, Rain. So tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
So I am 34. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas, South Austin at that, and I've been here my whole life. I haven't traveled too darn much, but I have been to the East Coast. I went last year in August with my girlfriend Karen, and we drove down from Worcester, Massachusetts to Texas. So that was a 30-hour long trip, and we made a couple of pit stops throughout the East Coast, but it was super exciting because I'd never done anything like that. And I got to visit Virginia, which was really cool. Got to go through New York, but New York's pizza was kind of disappointing, honestly. Maybe it was just the place we ended up at. And then the lobster rolls in Maine were kind of disappointing. I don't know why. Maybe we just had bad luck that day. But anyway, I'm from South Austin, and uh, I'm a cosmetologist currently. And I've kind of done a lot of stuff in my life. I've done some landscaping work. I've worked on cars before. I'm currently a cosmetologist. I've been in the beauty industry for 10 years or over 10 years, and I've been licensed for 5. I don't know. There's not much to me. I have chickens. I live on a 3-acre ranch. I love it out here. I've lived out here for about 4 or 5 years now. I started out in an RV and then progressed to a tiny house. It's a 700 square foot tiny house, and it's really cool. It's pre-manufactured. Anyway, I can't complain. I don't have any kids or anything, so no major responsibilities like that. I do have my own business though, so that's really fun. And yeah, I don't know. I'm a simple gal.
Cool. Towards the end, we'll have to have you tell us how they can find your business, and because you do nails also, any gals interested in that or whatever, if they're down in the Texas area.
Yeah.
Any social media you got, we'll ask that before we say goodnight. So,
For sure.
so tell us how I actually found you after you posted on our secret Leah Catello Facebook girls page. And you had posted that you were excited because you took your first flight. And I reached out to you, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And I wanted to be able to have you share your experience with everyone. So can you tell us how you got into the school, where you're taking your schooling, and your experience of everything?
Yeah, definitely. So funny story. So I've been a licensed cosmetologist for about 5 years. I've been friends with my friend Travis, who's also a Lone Star paramotor instructor for probably about 10 years, or maybe a little bit over that amount of time. But within the last like 3 years, I feel like so I'd go over there periodically, at least once a month consistently. And about that long ago, I started hearing him talk about like this flying thing, and he was like having this new hobby, and I was like, okay, I was just doing like it's my job to carry a conversation with people. So I would just talk to him about it and kind of have him elaborate, but I don't know, I just kind of brushed it off. And honestly, prior to that, I'd been in like one of the most terrible relationships in my life. I won't get too deep or anything, but it was pretty awful. It pretty much shot my self-esteem down, and I felt like, I don't know, not very confident enough or strong-minded enough to do certain things. Anyway, so one random day, Travis texted me and was like, "Hey, come fly with me." I remember that message so well, and because it was like, "Come fly with me," and I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll see what this is about." And so he took me up on a tandem ride, and as soon as I went up in the sky, I was like, I've got to do this by myself. I have to. This is really cool. This is like the best thing ever. I feel like a bird, and there's nothing like it because you're not like inside of a cabin or anything. Anyway, so I had started training, semi-training, or kind of going through the 10-day like program back in either like February or March of this year. And then I took a break in between. It was really cold in February and March, and then it got really hot since there aren't any seasons in Texas, as we all know. So yeah, August was definitely brutal. And so I was like, no, I'll just kind of wait And so I waited a little bit. I went back in September and started retraining, and my first flight was September 11th. And I remember that day because I don't think anyone can ever forget their first flight or their first few attempts, even because I failed miserably. And a lot of people are like terrified of failing, but I wasn't. I was just really determined. I realized that this was something I needed to do for my spiritual like journey and my own healing. I wanted to conquer my fears, and I feel like I, was motivated about life finally, again. And so I failed my first 6 attempts to launch miserably. I think I posted a video of my fail on Facebook or on TikTok or something. But so I failed 6 times before I actually went up. So September 11th, weird, right? September 11th was my first flight in the evening. I tried 6 times in the morning. I was carrying a Moster 185 on my back, and I launched. But the thing is that I had that on my back, and as soon as I put it on my back, I couldn't even breathe. It was really heavy, and I was really struggling to even open up my lungs to be able to breathe and run and all that jazz. So anyway, I failed miserably. I went home and cried that day for lunch. I just on my way home, I just cried in my car, and I was like, I just want to go up. I just want to know that I can do this. I want to know that I'm mentally strong and like I can do whatever my mind, whatever I put my mind to. And sure enough, I cried it out. I went back in the evening and I put on a lighter motor. I was on an Atom 80. And as soon as I put that on, I launched and I went up in the air, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't scream when I was up there right away. So I waited until I got down, and then I screamed. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it was all a blur. I was like, I can't believe, did I just do that? What just happened? I remember that day like it was just a few minutes ago, honestly. And I don't think I'll ever forget that. And I feel like a lot of people might feel the same way.
I'm the same way. I agree.
Yeah, nevertheless, I'm super duper excited to have finally conquered that. And hearing those words, full throttle, just terrified me so much the first few flights. But I think it was the 6th flight in, or the 6th launch, when I was like super excited to hear those words, full throttle, because I knew as soon as I hear those words, I'm good and I'm ready and I'm gonna go up. Like, so nowadays it's super exciting to hear full throttle, and I'm like, yeah, baby, we're going up. So it's just been such a life-changing experience for me, and it's definitely been a healing journey for me. I feel like it's just as soon as I went up in the air by myself the first time, I could almost hear my heart getting stitched up. And nowadays, every flight or whatever is so healing. And when I'm not in the air and I'm like staring out, if I'm driving and I'm staring out into the sky like a sunrise or sunset, I'm just wishing I was up there all the time. It really just kind of helps me center my mind, and it's super meditative. A few days ago, Ron took the class out, one of his classes out to the beach to Galveston over this last weekend, and I think it might have been one of the last few days of the class, and everyone had a blast. I'd never flown at the beach, obviously, and I got my 10th flight in, and I was finally able to stow both brakes for the first time. And I was shaking because, you have to keep the throttle on for a certain altitude and to stay at a certain altitude. But then, you know, my pocket's on my left hand. I have to zip the zipper down and like reach for my phone, and all while like holding on to enough throttle, not too much, not too little. But I freaking didn't, and I was like, I gotta get this freaking beach flight in. Like I was super excited to be able to be as comfortable, or comfortable enough to park both brakes finally and take a little 19-second video. My hand was trembling. I was
As
like,
your
oh
hand
my
was shaking.
God. I hope I didn't drop it. And I just held it close to my chest, and I was like, okay. And then I stuck the phone in my back pocket because I didn't feel comfortable enough to like stick it back in the pouch and like zip up the zipper. So I just stuck it in my back pocket and I kept going and came in for a landing. By the way, flight number 10 or flight number 9 was at the beach, was the first time I landed on my feet. I was struggling a lot to land on my feet, and I was kind of getting frustrated at the end. I didn't even get that frustrated with my first failed 6 launches, but I was getting really frustrated with me not being able to land on my feet. I kept landing on my knees. I never butt landed or anything. I don't think I ever broke a prop, but I did land on my knees, and I felt that it was maybe becoming like a habit or something. My feet were like, I don't know, they got in a habit of not expecting to hit the ground. And I got a really good feel for how to land at the beach. So I blame my instructors for that, for like launching me in good weather conditions, for beginner pilots especially. But anyway, that was kind
Okay.
of long-winded.
No, that's all right. That's awesome. So we've got a couple questions that have been brewing in the chat. First off, who's this Ron Torin guy? Who is that?
So he is my instructor, and he's the best instructor ever, and he owns Lone Star Paramotor down in San
Ah,
Antonio, Texas. So if anyone's looking for lessons or for instructions, or wanting to learn how to fly a paramotor, I would strongly suggest, if you're in the Texas area, definitely come down to San Antonio and check out Lone Star Paramotor, because they're fantastic. Ron immediately just had a huge part in my life and heart, and he's just wonderful. And Travis is an instructor there too, and he's amazing. And they're both very, very genuine people and very caring people, and they really do have the best interest in mind for you, and they always put safety first, which is, I think, essential for success, especially for anyone looking to get into the sport and maybe, you know, and wants to be successful. I would highly recommend them for sure.
awesome. All right. So Mark McElroy from Georgia, he asked a couple of questions. And I think you kind of did answer them. What motor and frame equipment, I guess, are you flying? And you said right now you started out with the Moster 185, but you're back down to the Atom 80.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Moster 185 was way too heavy for me, and it was kind of dragging me into the ground because I was getting really tired. It was sitting really heavy kind of on my back, so I feel like it was compressing my lungs. And so once I transitioned into the 80 instead, that's when I finally was able to launch and go up into the sky. So that was really exciting.
Nice. How many flights are you at right now?
I am 10 flights in. This last weekend in Galveston, I think I did 8 through 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And I think Karen Up she is traveling. She's lucky, and her and her husband are retired, and they're just traveling around, flying, finding places to go. And she asked the question if you can fly off the beach in Galveston. And I think Ron did answer that in the chat that yes, you can.
Yeah, definitely. It was great. It was pretty perfect. A storm came in around 5 o'clock, but it was an all-day flying sesh.
Okay. I did see that Aaron I said that he saw you and Travis at Endless Foot Drag, and also Stalker Steve said he saw you, and good thing he didn't come over by you, he said. I think that's hot buttered Steve is but after one of the other shows of his locals, she called him Stalker Steve. So
That's funny. Yeah, I went to my first fly-in ever in Kansas what was that, last month or two? I can't remember.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it was fantastic. I'd never seen that many paramotors in the sky, that many wings up there. They had a memorial for Michael Holiday. Yeah, and it was fantastic. I met the Sky family, or at least part of the Sky family, and everyone's really wonderful. I think that most people would agree that the camaraderie in the sport is top notch. Besides, obviously the flying itself, but I really feel like it's a Sky family. Everyone just really cares about each other and each other's safety. Of course, you have those very few, like hot shots or whatever, but that's anywhere, right? Like,
Right.
I think it's a wonderful sport, and I think that being that I feel like I've heard something like 5,000 active pilots in the U.S. That's a fairly small number, and I feel like, everyone knows everyone or something like that in the sport. I'm fairly new to it, but that's kind of what it seems like. And everyone that I've met so far has been super genuine and, I don't know, just really cool.
Definitely. We started out with our first fly-in at Bad Apples, and I was very nervous about going to it. Very nervous. I told myself I wasn't going to fly, and I sat there, and we went a couple days early, so we had a little bit of time before the big crowd got there. But just as they call it, the para waiting, that's where you actually get to know people. I would say that Eric and I have lots of new family members. We've got Shane and Krista. We've got a bunch of the guys in the chat. Between Brian Waller, Angela Preslick out in Vegas, Mark McElroy, Will Fly, JP in Ohio, all those guys. Even Stalker Steve now, can't wait to meet him. It's just, it's amazing, and it's like doing this show for ladies. It's like, it's nice to be able to meet you finally, this way at least. And I hope one day that we'll be able to para wait and hang out, and then be able to fly in the sky sometime together also.
For sure, definitely. I'm super excited, and honestly, I'm just gonna put this out there. But I really wish that the ladies, and I brought this up to, I don't know if you guys know, I'm gonna name drop here, but Amy George, which I met in Kansas, at the fly-in, and I kind of threw this at her, and I think she has like a friend on the board or something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna put this out into the universe, and I've been wanting to maybe realize this, women's fly-in in October for breast cancer awareness. I don't know, but that would be cool.
Great idea.
Yeah.
It's good weather in October, and I think it's a great cause. And we could even organize something like, only women like pilots up in the air or something, or like have a +1
Yeah.
type
We were
situation.
talking about that earlier, even in Tennessee, we were talking about that, how we would do that. And it's been brought up about doing it down at Hodges Field, down in Georgia.
Very
Um,
cool.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we would be able to do it sometime more during summer, because I am in a school now and it's hard to travel to Georgia or Texas in a weekend
Yeah, for
with
sure.
our gear. So Krista, take your drink. Your turn.
My turn.
Here's my
Okay,
drink.
well,
Eric finished it.
is it okay? It was champagne. I see you.
No,
pop.
it wasn't champagne.
Oh, okay. Shane says wine. Okay. Anyway, so Rain, you follow Shane, PPG Shane, on TikTok.
Yep.
That's how you two connected. So he invited you to the show, not knowing you were going to be on today. So he got embarrassed. It's great. Anyway, so my question would be, you had a bad relationship and were down. What drew you to become a PPG pilot?
Honestly, I'd have to say that once I went up on that tandem ride and realized that I wanted to test my mind and my strength and kind of rebuild my confidence, hopefully, I think that's what really did it for me. I'm like, this is like, there's nothing like flying up there, especially with just like a wing and a butt fan. It's totally different than being in an airplane. Like, I've been in the passenger airplanes and I've gone, I've flown before cross country, but there's absolutely nothing like paramotoring. I feel like slow, kind of in control. You're kind of playing with nature. You're feeling the wind. And I feel like just wanting to know that I had the ability to do that and that I could put my mind, to something and that I could pull it off really rebuilt my confidence. I was feeling not really confident in myself. But anyway, I was super happy to be able to conquer my fear. And my fear, I feel like most people's fear is going to full throttle. And that was my biggest like accomplishment in my mind, was going to full throttle. That was a huge deal. And once I did and I got over it and I got in the sky, I was super duper stoked. And it's definitely been super life changing ever since then. It's instilled a lot of confidence, and you understand that the mind is a battlefield, and like that quote says, whether you think you can or can't, you're right. So I think it's super duper empowering to, I'm not even going to say women, I just feel like people like myself. So my deal was definitely a bit more emotional. I've heard lots of people say that they've had, that they got into the sport because they've always wanted to fly, or like, their significant other is a pilot or flies airplanes, or, but I have absolutely no aviation background. Yeah, none whatsoever. And so this was definitely super unexpected. I feel like I can say that this sport found me and kind of rescued me and gave me a whole new passion for life and a whole different perspective. And I'm super duper appreciative of that, because I can genuinely say it's been a saving grace.
Awesome. Have you flown without your instructor in your ear yet?
I have not. Or
Okay.
honestly, kind of. on and off. So my very first flights, besides the fact that I couldn't get in my seat, I lost comms, communication, probably like halfway through my 10-minute flight. And I realized that I had lost comms, not really, but my ear cuffs, I forgot to like pop them in all the way. So I couldn't hear anything at all. It's loud up there, that motor's going, you've got the air in your face, it's your first flight, you can't think at all. You're just freaking out. You're like, oh my God, this is nuts. Like I, your freaking hearing shuts off or something. And when I realized, I was like, oh my God, I don't have comms. I need to turn back around and land right now. Like, so I turned back around and landed safe and soundly. Like, I didn't do a butt landing or anything. And I can only thank my instructors for, giving me good enough instruction to be able to land on my own on my very first flight. But anyway, and then at the beach this last weekend, I was playing up in the air for like 30 minutes, and I kid you not, like halfway through, like 15 minutes, I was just kind of dancing around, looking at the beach, looking at the waves, looking at people launch from the ground. And then I was like, oh wait, I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't heard any instruction. Like, where's Ron? So I look down at the ground and I see like this white shirt and like Ron kind of like talking into his phone, kind of looking up at me and kind of moving and shifting and talking. And I'm like, I don't think that I can hear anything. So I think he's trying to talk to me, but I think I've lost communications again. Anyway, it was my very first time just like needing to lose altitude and like do that S like pattern to like lose altitude and finally come down. And I finally got down to like 200 feet and I could hear Ron's voice in my brain. I was like, okay, shut the motor off, you know, wait, hands high, wait, pressure, full flare. Okay, and I'm down and I landed on my feet and I was like, oh my God, I just freaking landed on my own, like zero communications. I landed on my own and I landed on my feet. It was really cool. I was like, I did it. Holy cow. So kind of, yeah, kind of.
Wait, he taught you well if you still hear him when you can't hear him. So you
Oh yeah.
definitely instinctual.
Yep.
Very good.
You will hear
Jade?
his voice for over a year. I guarantee it, because I still hear my instructor's voice at times in my head. So
I don't know how I'm gonna fly without like my instructors. I feel like I'm gonna have to get a dummy besides a windsock, but like a dummy that looks like Ron. I'm just gonna have to stick him in the ground and like just like I don't know,
The
land that
scarecrow
way.
for October, just throw a scarecrow out there. It'll be good.
Exactly, with like a Lone Star paramotor hat, and that'll be Ron in my ear.
So Rain, Angela out in Las Vegas, she's got a question about how you got into this and your background. She asked if you would say this is a renewal of the spirit, of your spirit, kind of refreshing yourself.
Totally, I totally feel that way, and I feel like it's like I expressed earlier, it's been a saving grace. And nowadays, if I feel kind of down and out or something, I stare at the sky and I just really wish I was up there because I know that it would center me and all over again. It's a good reset and it's a different perspective all around for living life at all. You just experience life from a different perspective and it's super duper exciting. Not to mention the fresh air, the scenes, the views, just knowing that we're these little tiny humans and we can go up there and like fly this sky. It's so bizarre to me. And I'm like, wow. I was a big time video gamer as a teenager. I played a bunch of video games. One time I played video games for 8 hours straight, and I got sick to my stomach. But anyway, I can describe it as like, I don't know, a dream or a video game. It's definitely the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Linda in the chat, she's our paramom. She says you're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Just trying to catch up on some of the chat. So have you been to any other fly-ins at all?
I haven't, but I really hope to be more active in all of the fly-ins and whatnot. I heard of Oshkosh. I'd never heard of Oshkosh, and I really hope to be able to get to that next year. That would be really exciting.
That's like 3 hours from us.
That's really cool. I would love to do that and see the planes and stuff.
Yep. We were going to go to that, and we ended up, where did we go then?
Medicine. I don't know.
We went somewhere else, or we compensated. Oh, because we were going to Moonshiners then. I think like a week later. I think that was the deal. So you foot launch, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Honestly, it'd be really cool to learn how to fly a trike. But so I would have a lot of questions for you ladies that do trike. I think that's super cool. I have a shoulder injury on my right shoulder. And so whenever like I'm on a tandem ride, if I reach back to grab the brakes or whatever, sometimes I feel like my right shoulder might pop out of socket. But I hear it's different when you are the pilot. So I'm not sure. I would love, some feedback or just whatever. I would love to hear from you ladies that fly trikes. That's awesome. Especially
Yeah.
people with injuries or similar injuries to mine. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, I've got left shoulder surgery I've had a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago. And then I've had 7 knee surgeries. So I started
Dang.
right out with trike right away because I didn't think I would be able to do a foot launch at all. I did a tandem on foot launch, and I was scared to death coming down because my knee is not really connected very well. So survived, but I don't think it's going to be much different triking. I mean, you still have to get under the wing, and my problem, like yours, well, not, I shouldn't say like yours, but like Ron was saying, get on it. I started out on a Atom 80 on the trike, and it's like I had a problem with not wanting to squeeze the throttle hard enough to get that wing inflated, and I could tell my instructor was getting frustrated with me, and I was getting frustrated with myself. And but once I got it, I just kept going. I'm like, oh, I just had to give it a little bit more, power. So, yep.
Yeah, hearing those words was super scary for me. Full throttle was like, oh my God, no way. But
Yep.
now it's super exciting. I'm super excited to hopefully fly a trike. That'd be really cool.
Oh, you'll definitely like it.
I'd love to take more of my girlfriends up, honestly.
You should have them do a tandem with Lone Star guys.
Totally. Yeah, I'm definitely working on that for sure. But if I can freaking learn how to fly a trike soon enough, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, there you go. Krista, you got any questions down there?
Yeah, what wing do you fly?
So I am on an Ozone Spider. I believe it's a 20-meter wing. 22 meter.
Awesome. How do you plan on convincing your girlfriends to join in this sport?
I don't know. I try to keep posting videos, and I kind of try to, verbalize my personal motivations to do so. Just because I feel like most women might be more emotional, emotionally driven or something. and inspired too. But yeah, I'm trying to invite all my girlfriends. I'm like, come on a tandem, come on a tandem. I tell all of them, like, let me, get, Ron or Travis to get you up on a tandem. Like, let's go. Let's get you up there. We need more women pilots. Let's go.
So,
Any luck yet? Oh, sorry.
no, go
I
ahead.
have actually, there's 2 or 3 girls that I've been talking to that would be interested in going up on at least a tandem. One of them is actually interested in possibly learning to fly a paramotor. Yeah, so that's super exciting. I'm hoping I can like reel her in.
Sorry, Jake.
No, go ahead. You got any more?
I'm good. I got it.
All right. So Rain, I know you said you're on like flight 10. What's been the scariest part? Was it losing communication with Ron? And what's been your most memorable so far?
I've got to say the scariest like flight was, I guess so, yeah. The scariest thing was losing communications on my first flight, maybe. And but honestly, I feel like the first 6 flights, the scariest part for me was launching at all. Just super nervous because there was a lot of like multitasking to do, and your nerves and your butterflies show up and you're like, oh my God, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, but here goes nothing.
In the chat, Hot Buttered Steve is asking, what's your next focus or personal obstacle in your progression?
Landing on my feet in 0 winds. Because I got a gnarly scar from landing on my knee, and it's just a little frustrating not being able to land back home in San Antonio on my feet. Yeah, it's been a little frustrating to not be able to do that. So I kind of definitely felt like I was kind of cheating at the beach because the winds were perfect, and so it just made for a smoother, kind of softer landing. And but honestly, I got something out of it. I was at least able to feel or know how it's supposed to feel or something coming in and stuff. So
Nice.
but yeah, that's my next work in progress, is just landing on my feet and maybe doing some touch and goes and stuff.
So I want to go back to our Facebook page. I know Leah said it's not her page, it's all of our pages, the girls' page. She had made a comment the other day, and I'm sticking to it. I liked her comment that she had said, and I know you were in the comments also. She had said that every time you go up, you should always have something in mind that you're going to work on.
Oh yeah.
If it's going to be working on just your launch, or working on just your landings, or working on your turns, or putting your hands up, I want to work on my tip steering. And you can always do a so-called cross country, because that's just seat time. But it's the things that you need to concentrate on for yourself to make yourself better and advance yourself. I thought that was pretty neat, and that's sticking to me right now. So thank you, Leah, for that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So knowing that this is mostly man's sport, oh, hang on, we got a question in here. Ron says that you should learn to fly trikes and tandems and take up your friends.
Working on it, boss.
Let's see. Oh, I know, one other question. Were you taught any apps from Ron or Travis to use on your phone? What are they recommending?
Yeah, I was taught. I'm a procrastinator, so I haven't downloaded any apps yet. I kind of rely on Travis for that and Ron, but I will soon. And I haven't used any apps in flight. But Travis has reminded me which ones I could probably use, and it'd be cool to hear from you gals which ones you guys use and recommend the better ones, preferably like the cheaper ones that are still really good. But yeah, I'm excited to use some in flight and keep track of, altitude or just the amount of time that I spend up there. That'd be cool.
Angela's asking a question. What advice would you give to want to be flyers, and what is the biggest hurdles to accomplish?
Man, so to wannabe flyers, I'd say definitely go for it. We've heard it, over and over again. You only live once, and you'll hear me say that a lot. I'll be like, let's YOLO it, or let's YOLO it. You only live once, so let's do it. I'd say definitely go for it. I think I just posted something the other day along the lines of do the great things while they're small, and do the harder things while they're easy. And I strongly believe that, like, it's amazing that humans can build this machine and go up into the sky and experience life in a whole new perspective. And it's it's indescribable, really. I don't have the words to put to it, but it's my Zen place. It's a good place to meditate up in the sky, to take a breather, to recenter yourself, your thoughts, your mind. And the biggest challenge for me, or whatever, as a beginner foot launch paramotorist, is or was the launches, especially in like zero wind. I just always got nerves and butterflies, and I'm like, oh, can I do this? But honestly, it's once you get up in the air, you kind of turn back and you're like, why was that so hard? Like, I don't know. It's like anything else, I'm not a football player, but I'm sure that if I trained correctly how to be a football player, I could totally do it. Kind of like I said earlier at the beginning, whether you think you can or can't, you're absolutely right. So I feel like for the most part, whatever you put your mind to, you can totally accomplish. And I would encourage anyone looking into anything brand new to definitely go for it.
Your reverse launch was awesome on the video.
That at the beach, actually, that was my first time reverse launching. So thank you. Yeah, it was pretty perfect. Pretty perfect wind conditions, rather, to be able to do that. So thank you.
All right, so Leah has corrected me. She goes, it's not a man's sport. In her perspective, they can barely keep up. So she's laughing, but you go, Leah. And then Ron said that he had a class of 4 dudes and they watched Rain launch last week. He goes, he turned to them and told them to fly like a girl. That's awesome. Thank you, Ron.
That was really exciting. I've been kind of hanging out with Lone Star recently, and I had the privilege of getting to experience a whole new class from like start to finish, and it was definitely the most life, changing experience besides flying. Besides actually flying, it's probably the most second life-changing experience ever. Because you go from, meeting these people, guys or girls. In this case, it was the 4 guys that come in with like a dream. Because I've heard people say, I've dreamt of flying, or I dreamed that I just open my arms and I'm flying, or I'm flying like Superman. And I'm like, I've never, ever had those kinds of dreams. I don't know what you're talking about. Cool. And like, I've heard a bazillion people say the same thing. But so definitely, I feel like 50, to 70% of the students were, said the same thing. They're like, I've always dreamt of flying. I've always wanted to do this. And I couldn't coincide, but it was really cool being a part of that journey in their lives and watching them go from having a dream to having to face their fear, and then having watched them conquer their fear, but be successful at it. And like, once they got up into the air, I was just extremely excited for them. It really instills such a deep like happiness for me to watch them go up in the air, and it's super duper exciting. And I love being a cheerleader, and I always tell the boys, I'm like, dude, like, I'm the clumsiest person. Like, if I'm literally accident prone, if I can do this, you can definitely do it. Like, if I can do it, come on, like, anybody can do it. My dog can do it. My chickens can do it. Like, but so it's been super special to me, and very fulfilling to my heart and soul to see just people conquering their greatest fear, which is letting go, or getting past that one like boundary or part in their brain that says you can't do it, and then just going past that and watching them do it and like fulfill their dreams, and then come in and land, and it's just seeing their freaking reactions is literally priceless. It's the best thing ever. So I'm super excited to be a part of the Lone Star Paramotor team. And yeah, couldn't be more grateful and more thankful for this new and exciting sport and passion.
Cool. Hey, so I've got one more question. Clark's video, he lives up here by us. He wants to know who you watch on YouTube. And while you're explaining that, I'm gonna do a share screen and try to get to some of your videos and pictures. Okay, go for it.
Who I've watched on YouTube, I've watched, honestly, I'm terrible at names. I can't remember who I've watched. I know for sure I've watched like Tucker Gott, but just other like videos for beginner paramotorists, like launching, or tips for landing by Kyle Oakley type thing. And then I think Lone Star Paramotor has Alexis on there, just explaining a few things about the wing. But yeah.
Okay. So this, I take it this was your trip down to Galveston this last week. I'm gonna play this real quick, okay?
Yeah. See that cloud, the shadow of that cloud in there is really cool. I saw a bunch of dolphins.
You saw some dolphins?
Love it. You were barefoot.
Yeah, I thought there were sharks, but they were dolphins.
Nice. This is a cool picture.
Yeah, that's me and my instructor, Travis.
Okay.
And I am kiting his wing there.
I gotta move my pictures over. That's your thumbnail. There's beautiful rain. I love, this is the picture that I thought was really cool.
I love those pictures with Ron. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. giving you some last words of wisdom and you really concentrating there, it looks like.
Totally. I was so nervous. That was my first launch. And I was like, oh my God, what am I about to do? Okay, I got this. I got this. Just be a robot. Just be good. Just listen to Ron. That's all.
Yep. Trying on
Him
your,
reminded me to keep my hands high during launch.
yep. Filling up with gas.
Yeah, I have to hold it up with my knee because it's kind of heavy.
There you are. Nice open fields you got down there.
Totally. Yeah, that's in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay. And that was the TikTok I did today for you.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's it. All right. So we made it to 8:03. Told you it was going to go
Good deal.
fast.
Yeah, that went by really fast.
So I once again would like to thank you for taking time out of your day and sending me some pictures and videos throughout the last week. Also, Eric is going to enter in the code for a little after show. Rain, I invited you in if you're willing and want to join in and possibly meet some of our paramotor friends out there and across the country. You're more than welcome to stay on, and Travis can stay on and say hi also. And
Cool.
we'll stay on for a little while and get to know everybody else. And if they've got any other questions that I or Krista did not ask, they can ask you, but it'll be off the recording then.
Cool. Sounds great.
So
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Jade and Krista.
yeah, you are totally welcome. Also, hey, where can we find you on social media?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't log into my TikTok, but I have one too. And it's just my last name, my middle name, my first name, Vela, V as in Victor, ELA, Crystal Rain, or Crystal Rain Vela. I'm sure you could find me through any of maybe you guys or something, but yeah.
All right. Again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. You can check us out every week, Wednesdays. And if anybody knows any females that fly, skydive, hot air balloon, anything in aviation, anything in the air, please have them reach out to us and let's share their story too. And let's let the girls know that they're not alone out there. And also like to have you all watch Monday night Clear Prop TV with PPG Grandpa, and Tuesday night hangouts with Eric and Shane. And again, Wednesday nights you're strapped in for paramotorgirl.com and Girls Just Want to Fly. And Thursday night, Linda's son, paraglidingtalk.com, and Sunday, our Paramotor Nation. So make sure everybody's out watching and learning from everybody else. So please join us if you're interested, and we'll see you.
Sweet. Thanks again. Girls Just Want to Fly.
Yep. Hang on one second. All right.